3, 2, 1,
jingle! Happy time has just begun. Brother, sister, smart, dumb, fun.
Yeah.
That's right. We are live. We got a threesome today. Brothers, sisters, and Chip Moehle. That's right. And we got dance funky music from Mad Max Caselli, the marvelous Max Caselli. It's Sunday. It's beautiful. It's like summer today.
I know.
Felt like summer. We had a banging, humongous party last night outside our front door. Not that we were invited, but the neighbors were having just a monster, a rager. At like 5 o'clock in the morning, it was full tilt at 5 a.m. I think it was one of those parties where like they have like a party train or something. So yeah,
Jenny, you could have gone out there and joined the party, you know.
Well, I was up. I got up and made coffee, so I was like literally kind of out there on my porch drinking coffee, watching the party for a while.
We should do that for one of your shows. Just sit and watch a party from your friend.
From your porch drinking coffee because this is the time of the day that I actually get up when you people haven't even been to bed yet. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Oh, they're so much cooler than us. I can't believe it.
So much cooler. I was sitting there thinking that. I'm like, God, look at all these young people having so much fun. They're so young and so cool and hip. I'm like, I'm old, drinking coffee, getting ready I was going to study. I did like 2 hours of studying. I'm like, I'm going to study while you guys are partying down. Like there's no tomorrow, even though it's tomorrow.
Oh my God. I'm terrible. When I used to take care of this guy's house in California, and across the street there was a guy who would invite his friends over like Saturday night and they'd all play music. And the TV and everything was on the second floor, so it was very hot, so I had to leave the window open. And I'd always be like, shut up, I can't hear what's on HBO.
What are those kids doing out there? They're just playing. I don't know.
About that. Exactly. So yeah, I was having one of those moments where I'm like, oh gosh, I'm the oldest person ever. And it was fun. It was fun to watch. They were just having fun. I'm like, I was watching some of these girls dance and their bodies move in ways that mine never have been able to move. I'm like, damn, that is dedication right there. That's somebody that does squats on a regular basis. Okay.
According, being raised Catholic, I wouldn't even know how to move that way.
The Lord said no.
Exactly.
The Lord said none of that.
I don't have enough confession time to be able to move like that.
Let's just say I found when I was cleaning garbage out of my yard this morning so I could get ready to mow my lawn. I found some really excellent stuff in my yard. A little bit of Courvoisier. There was one, I can't think of it. Mr. Belvedere. No, it was Belvedere, and then some sort of whiskey. I could not identify it. It was in a kind of a tan bottle with like a brown and orange label. I can't remember what it was. I'm like, I've not seen that one before.
That's 5 a.m. whiskey. That's what that is.
That is 5 a.m. We've managed to pull together about $8 between us. This is what you get.
Exactly. I'd like the bottom shelf whiskey, please. No, lower.
Last bottle of the night. Okay.
Oh, the one next to the antifreeze. That's the one.
That is the one. So yeah, it was a straight up rager last night. It was interesting. So yes, we are. It is Sunday. We have Chip Moehle, entertainment expert, with us today, and yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Lots of things happened this week, so we're gonna get into it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna talk about why we hated the new incarnation of Roadhouse, except for Chip, because he liked it better, but more importantly, we're gonna talk about action movies that you should watch instead. So let's go ahead and get into it and bring us in.
All right. So hello to all our new and faithful followers. If you're new, a new listener, or just forgot, we're the brothers, sisters, Anne and Janice. We are sisters. Our last name is Brothers. As simple as that. We're in our 50s, so we're Generation X. Excuse me. That means that sometime in our past, we had jobs at the mall.
Natural Wonders.
2 or
Yeah,
3.
exactly. I worked at Natural Wonders and Sofro Fabrics.
Oh, I forgot you worked at the fabric store.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
With Corey Overcamp.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
That's been a long time ago.
A long, long time ago. So I know now malls are like passe, but at the time they were the thing. So, and if you're Generation X, you probably had a job at a mall sometime, somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's see. We talk about smart stuff, dumb stuff, fun stuff, or any combination of the three. And we are not cool, hip, or sexy, as Jenny can attest to. We know this because we gave up on long hair a long time ago.
Like 1976.
Actually, if you're watching this instead of just listening, there's a picture of Jenny and I when I was 6 and Jenny was 5, and we both had long hair. I think that was about the last time.
That's when I had my I had my Laura Ingalls Wilder braids back in the day. That's the time I had that my bang and corduroy suit, and so I had the braids with my awesome corduroy suit. God damn, I looked good.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so we're not a celebrity influencer or true crime podcast. I always stumble on that. We are just too distracted by shiny objects to focus on any one thing, So here we are. We've been told we're good to listen to when you want to learn things about stuff. According to our friend and today's special guest, Chip. This podcast is not GPG or even PG-13, but we're also not NC-17 and not even quite rated R. We're that happy, grown-up place in the middle. You can join us on our website or Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Like us, follow us, hit the bell, give us your feedback with our questions and answers. And of course, you can take our polls. They're very short. It will not take up much of your time. Or you can say, Alexa, play the Brothers Sisters Smart Dumb Fun. And she will.
And she will, because she knows us now. Because we're like this. We're like toy.
Exactly.
Oh my God, you guys know Alexa.
We do. See, we know things about stuff. In fact, Chip, that's our new tagline. That's going to be on our T-shirts when we get those. We know things about stuff. So you'll learn things about stuff. So
that and Beaver's Gotta Beef.
Beaver's Gotta Beef. That's the other one.
Love that.
Well, we've known that for a while, but we really got to know that on Monday. But and we'll talk about that in a second because that's part of our smart, dumb, fun stuff. So Ann, would you like to talk about your smart, dumb, or fun stuff that happened to you this week?
Well, the best thing, of course, the coolest, amazing thing was the eclipse. But we spent a whole show talking about eclipse, and then we were on Facebook Live all day. So I thought I would go to my next funnest thing, which was having dinner with our old theater teacher and forensics coach, Lynn Brand from Sturgis High School at Toba Sushi in Kalamazoo. It was a really fun evening. We laughed a great deal. Lynn Brand is the reason why we have this show on as a podcast. So she's the godmother of our podcast. So I wanted to give a shout out to her and say, thanks, Lynn. I had a great time and let's do it again soon.
She's kind of like our consistent motivator because you kind of fall into this groove and then Lynn's like, no, do more, do this now, do this. And so it's like, because she was our teacher in high school, you're like, do what Lynn says. Lynn is still the authority figure. She's still an authority figure.
Yes,
Mrs. Brand.
Yes, Ms. Brand. And she's genuinely the godmother of this podcast. That is correct. So that was fun. I would totally agree. For me, I'm still glowing from the eclipse. It was fantastic. It was amazing. This time we got to see prominences. We didn't get to see prominences in 2017. So for those of you, a prominence is a solar flare that arcs and basically flares out and then kind of makes a little loop on the sun. That's a prominence. It was really fantastic. The spot that you picked, Ann Brothers, was glorious. That was half the fun, is that we spent half the day poking around the nature reserve, which was incredible. Again, if you want to hang out in Ohio, there are safe places in Ohio, and Ottawa National Wildlife Refuge is a great spot. And just props to them; they did a fantastic job of prepping and putting it together. I think they were busier than they thought they were going to be. The facility is beautiful. They were well equipped. They had plenty of places to potty. They had plenty of volunteers. They had food trucks there. They had plenty of parking. And I just thought they really did a great job. They had lots of people that were visible, so you didn't worry about somebody messing with your stuff because there were little rangers everywhere. And just I thought they did a super fabulous job. And if you ever get a chance to go down there and just hang out, it's a great day. And what's cool about that, you can be mobile, you can be in a vehicle, you can be walking, and you're going to get something out of going there. So it's awesome. We had delicious food. It was really great getting together and just enjoying sandwiches and chicken and all, little Debbie Swiss rolls. And like I said, I didn't think there was any way we could do better than what we did in 2017. We totally did it. And part of that was just the company that we kept. It was nice to experience that with Joe and Duncan and Tony, because they had never seen one before. It was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be. I'm already like looking up the next eclipse. I'm trying to be optimistic that because there's a small one that's going to hit 2044. That one will kind of swing through Montana, South Dakota, that kind of stretch of that area. But there will be another big one a year later in, I want to say, August of 2045. And that's another cross-continent one where it starts in California and will finish down through Florida, running through central Colorado. I think Colorado Springs is going to get totality, which is kind of a bummer because
Colorado Springs.
Sorry, Colorado Springs.
Yep.
I'm not a fan. Anyway, so yeah, that was completely and totally amazing. So anyway, enough of that. Let's get into it because why we're here. We are here because we have super special guest Chip Moehle with us. So Chip, now it is your turn to tell us something smart, dumb, or fun that happened or is happening. And then, of course, you have to answer the question, what is your spirit animal? You can answer these in any particular order.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start with the smart was that I listened to Brother Sister Smart Dumb Fun.
Yeah,
that's right. So glad that you guys have turned this into a podcast, because now Monday mornings I have the choice between you guys and Smartless, and you guys always win.
Yeah, right on. Suck it.
So suck it,
celebrities.
Exactly. We rule.
Yeah, because it truly, it's where I learn things about stuff. I mean, I said, and like turkey buzzards, never would have given them a second thought. Listened to the podcast and was like, wow, this is fascinating. The thing about chocolate, I learned about Chicago. I learned about Detroit. I'm like, I'm loving this because I'm learning things about stuff. And it's from you guys. I know you guys, we have a shorthand anyway. So when I listen to you talk, and the eclipse. So something dumb is pretty much everything I do. So we'll just leave that. Something fun was that I did watch the eclipse. We were at work and everybody was like, come on down, we have glasses. And I've never really seen an eclipse. And I'd been listening to your podcast. So I went down and looked up. It was the first time I've ever seen anything like that. I was absolutely blown away. And just loved it. The other thing is, I went last night to my friend Paul's house for his birthday. He had a dinner party for his birthday. And I had a wonderful time. And I bring him up because he is now a new listener of the Brother Sisters podcast.
Yes.
So I was like, there are other episodes, but they're on YouTube. They're all video, but you can get them, these are also video, but you can get them. So he's been listening, and it's been cute. He'll be, he said, I can't remember now. I'm losing my memory, but he'll be like, oh yeah, I agree with this, or oh, I went and looked and listened to that after you guys mentioned it, or so
right on,
like,
cool.
That's exactly it. I'm like, we got to get more people on the Brother Sister Smart Dumb Fun train.
Well, we're actually meeting with a high school friend of mine who runs a marketing and promotions company, and she specializes in social media. So we're going to meet with Kathy this week and see what she has to say. And
excellent.
And that was part of Lynn's prompting, was like, we will grow you now. And I'm like, okay, because we have, our podcast can drink now because we have 22 episodes. So
yeah, we have archives.
Well,
in fact, that's
how do you get a bigger audience? I mean, right now we're talking to the converted, so it's kind of like,
in my reading that I've done, one of the things that we have to do, and this is the part that I need I need to be able to do this full time, because the thing that I have to do if I want to increase exposure is to take our long form podcast and chop it up into reels. And so that's what, you can hire, people to do
Oh,
that will actually go through and pull out those 30-second or 60-second clips so that you can put them on a TikTok or a Reels or an Instagram
yes.
Reels or Facebook Reels and whatever. And that's one of the ways that you do it. It's just that I literally don't have hours in the day to do that. And so, I know there's AI that does it. So I actually sat there and watched a half-hour video the other day about what AI, what are the best AIs to do this. And then, the AI, the guy that tested all the AI is like, what you should really do is just hire somebody to do it. I'm like, well, somebody that wants to do it, it's going to do it for $1,000 a month. I'm like, we're not quite there yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little past our budget. How about a t-shirt?
Yeah.
How about a t-shirt?
We'll throw in a mug and something else.
Tote bag.
Tote
bag.
A tote bag. There you go. And a mouse pad.
Oh yeah, those are always you need those.
What is my spirit animal? Every time I hear you guys ask this on the thing, I'm like, I got to be prepared. So there's actually two. One is not an animal. One is a singer songwriter named Maria McKee, who was with a band called Lone Justice in the 80s. Solo since then. She writes some of the best music. She has one of the best voices ever. And she is literally like a spirit animal to me. Like when I listen to her sing, I'm into it. I got to meet her. I got to drive her to a party once. And I just was like, you ain't got the entire time. She told me I was adorable, so I'm fine with that. The funny thing is I discovered that she actually wrote a song that was on the soundtrack for the original Roadhouse. And she didn't sing it. She just wrote it, and it was sung by somebody else. I was like, ooh, nice little circular thing going on there. And
Totally.
Spirit animal is really honestly Timon the meerkat from The Lion King.
Oh,
Love that.
Yeah.
Excellent pick.
He's darling.
Yes, and he's funny, and he's quick-witted.
Mm-hmm. I
like
agree
you,
with you,
Chip.
Chip.
Spirit animal is
Just
Nathan.
like you. Wait, what did Duncan just say?
You said your spirit animal is Nathan Lane?
Yes, that as well.
You could do worse.
He said you could do worse.
I know.
I always like the fact that Duncan is our live studio audience.
And then he's folding clothes.
He's folding clothes.
He's like a 1950s housewife.
He's just supporting his lady.
Yep.
Duncan, where's Anne's drink?
Right here. You got it for me. You got me a
Already
drink.
done,
nice.
Jenny.
He's like,
Wait
it's
a
already.
minute, Jenny.
When I start my podcast, I better have my drink.
I love that. All right. So well done, Chip. Thank you for sharing your smarts on fun. Thank you for sharing your spirit animal. And we're going to just get right into this. We're going to talk about why Anne hated Roadhouse movies, both kinds. She's an equal opportunity hater for both Roadhouses. Go for it, girl.
Well, I the first one I saw like in the late 20-teens. It was the first time I've ever seen it. And I was like, this is so offensive. What was wrong with us in the 80s? Did we hate everybody but white men? And the answer to that is yes. It's sexist in a way that only the 1980s can be. And I do want to note, Sam Elliott, I'm looking at you. Sexual harassment is not flirting. Every time he opened his mouth, I was like, damn, somebody should smack him in the face. So that's one of the reasons why I hated it. I said plot. There is no plot. It's a bunch of white guys running around trying to kill each other or not succeeding in killing each other. What?
Otherwise, the movie would be over too quickly.
Exactly. I was like, what are they trying to tell us? They don't even know. And why was this movie made? Like, did we just say yes to all movies then? I don't understand. It was like there was these 3 rules and it seemed to boil down to be nice until murdering. So, it's like, hey, look at me. I've got great hair until I have to rip your throat out. And I'm not exaggerating for that. If you haven't seen this movie, my favorite is, and I remember this so distinctly, was, Patrick Swayze's like, he's doing his Tai Chi or whatever, the killing art of monks, whatever. And he's got no shirt on and the spunky waitress brings him breakfast, which is like a breakfast sandwich that he shuns because that's gross, as he's smoking. Everybody smokes in this movie, him most of all. So, of course, very 80s, smoking. I'm surprised he didn't have 2 cigarettes, blowing smoke out of his mouth, but greasy food, oh no, he's above that. And then
I'll put that into his beautiful body.
exactly. And then, of course, at the time, we didn't realize the mullet was a haircut. We just thought it was a haircut. And then we didn't realize until like the 90s that it had a name, the mullet. So everybody's got one. They've all got this big, big hair. And Patrick Swayze wakes up from his, in his sexiness. And he's in his cool barn loft with this beautiful giant hair that's perfectly coiffed. And I was like, that takes a team of stylists and a shit ton of hairspray. So there's nothing right about this movie other than the cool barn loft. And when Patrick Swayze does not have a shirt on and is not talking, those are the only 2 good things about this movie. Yeah, that's it. It's terrible.
I feel like
Roadhouse
you're being overly harsh. Yeah, okay.
2024. You would think we could do better. I'm like, the bar is in the dirt, people. And yet they managed to make a movie 35 years later that's worse. There's no plot. They tried to take the same plot, which with our simple 1980s minds mildly worked, but with our more sophisticated 35 minds 35 years later does not work at all. Why would you spend $20,000 a month for a former MMA fighter to be your bouncer? Just hire. You could literally hire a whole security team. Literally, people trained to do this who will not destroy your bar in the process of protecting your bar. Okay, who's the bad guy? It's like somebody was like, okay, that's the bad guy. Oh, wait, he's not bad enough. This is the bad guy. Oh, wait, he's not bad enough. This is the bad guy. They literally did that like 4 times. Why would you hire, if you're the bad guy, why would you hire a team of thugs to destroy property that you want to buy so that you can make money? Just, we're all susceptible to cash. Literally drive a dump truck full of money up to my house. You can have this one right now. I'll sell you the cats.
Wait, does Duncan come with the house? Because he makes drinks.
Maybe. The love story, there was no chemistry between what's his name and the love interest, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Dr. McBlinky.
Yeah. Oh man, that was terrible. Conor McGregor, I couldn't understand. I was like, I swear to God, that man is not speaking English. Other than his butt, it was like the ode to the former homoerotic 1989 version. We saw a lot of his butt, but that wasn't even worth it. There was a plucky teen character. Really? Why? Florida should sue because they made everybody in that state look like an idiot. Oh, wait.
Uh-oh, it's a whole movie of Florida, man.
You just lost your whole Florida.
Florida contingency. It seems as though the last third of the movie was written by no one. Just like they just turned on cameras and everybody did stuff. Dalton lives in a smelly old boat instead of a cool barn loft. This film is no fun. And only good part of this film was a character named Mo, played by Arturo Castro. He was funny and kind of endearing. And then he left. And it was sad because I was like, bring back Sam. He had the best lines.
One of the few characters. He was one of the few characters that got out alive.
Yeah, because he left. Good, smart guy. I would have watched a movie just about Sam.
Yes.
Right, that's all I have to say.
Okay, very good.
That's good.
Well, Anne, I'm going to counter your arguments against the original Roadhouse. I mean, everything you said is true. However, this is still at the top of my guilty pleasure movies, and I will watch this 100 times out of 100 whenever I stumble across it. And part of the appeal for me is that I saw this movie originally, right place, right time. I had just finished. I just finished my finals for the year, my freshman year at Eastern. So here it is. It's like late April / early May of 1990. And this was the free movie they were showing in the Goddard Lounge. while many people still had finals to study for, I was all done. And so I was like, I'm going to treat myself to this movie because they had free popcorn and they had pop and it was just awesome. And so I went down there and I got all the popcorn and the soda that I wanted. And I sat there and I watched that whole movie and I was just like, this movie kicks ass. And it did. Despite the fact that it's terrible and misogynistic and everything is stupid and it makes no sense. But here's the reasons it's good is that Patrick Swayze is at his glorious youthful best. Dalton's 3 rules, which are 3 rules that I live by as a teacher, which are take it outside, never underestimate your opponent, and be nice until it's time to not be nice, which is how I run my classroom. Okay.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. Sam Elliott delivering the line as he comes to the double douche for the first time and he gets off his motorcycle. He's like, the double douche. I never get tired of that. Let's see. There's a clear-cut bad guy in this movie, which is the Ben Gazzara character of Brad Wesley. There's a clear-cut henchman in this movie who has almost nothing to say. He just does this. And then just delivers lines, as he's beating up Dalton. The end is the stupidest ever, and it's ended in that classic sort of 80s sitcom way. I'm like, yeah, we just murdered the bad guy. It's fine. 2 thumbs up, Yeah. For some reason too, this movie has become memorable and iconic in the way that only nostalgia can wipe clean somehow. And like I said, it will always be the top of my guilty pleasure movie. As far as the 2024 version, wrong place, wrong time. It's like you said, it's no fun. It takes itself too seriously for what this movie is and what's being remade from. Man, they should have been just winking it up the whole time. And instead, they took it really seriously. Like you said, it's terrible in ways that it shouldn't be in 2024. There's no Dalton 3 rules. He's some lame 40-year-old MMA fighter that we're supposed to believe is actually like 30. Jake Gyllenhaal can't pull that off anymore. That man's 43 years old and he looks 43. The entire boat fight scene at the end of the movie was nonsensical. Zero chemistry between the doctor. And like I said, she needs some acting lessons because she just blinks. She blinks the whole time whenever she's delivering a line. Blink, 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 blink. That drove me insane immediately, and I could not stop seeing that. There's not enough Mo in the movie. He's the best part. And like Ann said, it's 100% true. Nobody wrote the end of this movie. I think the writers just snorted coke and then asked Google how we should end this movie. So that was it. Yeah. So and it was an hour too long. Okay, so there you go. That's my critique of Roadhouse 2024. And like I said, I've watched the 1989 version clean in my mind because of nostalgia, age, and the fact that I was in such a great mood the first time I saw that movie. So there you go. Yeah. All right, Chip. Now you.
I love it. Wait, you're frozen.
Am I frozen?
Oh, you're back. You're back.
Okay. Sweet.
Sorry. Woo! I almost overreacted. What did I think of Roadhouse? Okay, well, I just want to start with this quote that I found. In 1989 Roadhouse, wait, I'm sorry. 1989, the movie Roadhouse was an action flick of such gross stupidity that it received 5 deserved Razzie nominations. I think that pretty much says it right there. So this was not a movie I saw in the 1989s. It's a movie I never intended to see. And then Jenny asked if I would be willing to do this. And I really had to think about it for a minute. And so I thought, sure, why not? Because Patrick Swayze is hot. And so that's why I watched it. And that's why it's right there on the top. Patrick looked amazing. He did. And much like what you said, he smokes a lot. Like every scene starts with him putting a cigarette up to his mouth and lighting it. And I'm like, did you finish the last one? Like, are you just like taking a puff and I don't know. But I've got all sorts of notes on this one. Swayze is one of those, I call him such an earnest actor. Like he's not one of our greatest actors, but he was very talented and he was very loved and he was very earnest and he had the ability to try and work harder. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think he did with every movie he was in. Some of them he managed to do it, and some of them you could just tell that he just fell a little short of the line. There's a couple of quotes. Let's see, does that come down there? Okay, so as I said here, my eyes hurt from rolling them so often. I sat through most of this film just like really like, oh my God. And at one point I thought, you're going to have to stop and watch this in bits. And then I thought, no, because then you're going to have to watch it over days. Like just rip the friggin' Band-Aid off and be done with it. But there was some good quotes like, does a hobby horse have a wooden dick? That was written by a human being. The other
Paid.
one was one of
Who
my
got
favorites.
paid for that?
Yes. And this, I mentioned later the homoeroticism, but there was this line that says, I see you found my trophy room. The only thing that's missing is your ass. Another human being wrote that. So some really good writing in this. See, I'm rolling my eyes now. What really upset me was there was no montage showing the improvement of the bar. Like it was the 80s, for Christ's sake. We needed that 3-minute montage of them improving the bar set to some popular song by Bob Seger. And we just didn't get that.
Missed opportunity. Missed.
Right? Come
Real.
on.
Real.
The actress Kathleen I can't ever pronounce her last name, Wilhout, who played the little bar gal that brought him the egg sandwich. Like, I love her. She pops up every once in a while. She's a singer, she's an actress, and she played the part she was meant to play. But I got the feeling her part was much bigger and it got cut. Yeah. And I felt bad for her. I have to say, Jeff Healey, even his hair improves throughout the course of the movie, even though the movie doesn't. Like, they're like, let's comb it a little. Let's comb it back a little. Let's throw a little spray on there. I'm like, you go, Jeff Healey. You can't see it.
Well, it's a testament. It's a testament to how much Patrick Swayze improved the bar, because now, by the end of the movie, he didn't have to sing behind chicken wire anymore.
Totally.
He got to comb and wash his hair.
The blind guy had better hair.
Yeah, he did have good hair. Yeah.
But there is a moment. Well, I put down Sam Elliott ! What I meant was Sam Elliott at peak hotness. Like, yeah, he was kind of disgusting in the film, but like he just walks on the screen and you're like, oh my God, like your knees buckle. So I was kind of bummed when they offed his character. But
spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Sorry, spoiler alert!
Sam Elliott gets stabbed in the chest.
1989.
It was him or the doctor.
Let me think here. Watching Swayze, I kept thinking he would have been good in the Marvel universe, not like as a major superhero, but kind of one of the side superheroes. Like I think he would have
Ant-Man. I think he would have been a good Ant-Man.
Maybe. I don't know that he's quick enough. Humor wise. And I wrote this music cues. There were like oboes and strings, I think, at times, and I was like, is this a horror film? Like, who the fuck design these music cues? But the other thing was, let me go back to here. The homoeroticism of 80s movies, that's what really brought out to me, was like, oh yeah, I forgot that like we didn't really have homosexual characters in movies. We just had these movies that presented hot men with other hot men shirtless. And my feeling was like, just go rent some porn. Then you don't have to watch crap like this. And you're done in 5 minutes. So yeah. Well, and then it was funny near the end. I can't remember if it was they scare the horses off or they light something on fire next to his, beautiful bedroom. And then he goes running and jumps off the roof and he does this ballet jump. He's like, when he jumps off, and I was just like on the floor laughing, like, did the director really go, yeah, let's keep that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like, we'll get the Joffrey Ballet crowd for that one moment, but it was kind of beautiful to see. I spent a lot of time saying, is it over? Is it over? And that was, I was saying to myself, because there was nobody else watching this thing with me. And then finally, I just at the end felt like, show me on the teddy bear where this movie hurt you, because it was all over. All over. Hurt my mind, hurt me physically, my heart hurt. I couldn't stand. I was laughing, I was crying. It did not become a part of me.
Man.
Now, Chip, I don't know why I wrote. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, Chip, I feel responsible because I asked you to do this, and I
No,
just want you to know that I appreciate how much you love
no,
me because
not
you
at
did
all.
that for me.
Not at all. Because that's the thing. I thought, I know it's you guys, and I know
Right.
this
Oh my
should be a
God.
lot of fun. And it's only like an
Yeah.
hour and 45 minutes of my life. So,
Right.
and I got to say funny things like, show me on the teddy bear when this movie hurt you. So now I don't know why I wrote down that the new one was 2021. It's probably because I was doing it on my phone and it was so tiny. But the new Roadhouse was actually 2024. And just like Patrick, Jake looked amazing.
Mhm. He
Yeah,
did.
I don't think he ate carbs for like a year.
I agree.
For
And
sure.
what I heard was he got COVID at one point, and then they had to shut down filming for like a month and a half. So he had to keep that physique for that month and a half before they went back to shooting.
Wow.
Let's see. I have one bit of trivia for both films. So I'll do the one for the 1989 film, which is Annette Bening was originally supposed to play the doctor that Kelly Lynch played. But she and Swayze had no chemistry together. And so she was let go. So they hired Kelly Lynch, who quite frankly had no chemistry.
I was going to say,
I
she
was
didn't have
gonna
any
say,
chemistry
compared to
either.
what?
Didn't even deliver a line. But it was like, that was interesting to find out.
Tammy Peters is with it, and Chip, she liked that line.
It hurt, Tammy. It hurt. I'm still in therapy.
Ooh.
So I kind of just went down
That's the line of the
actors.
day. It really is.
Daniela Melchior, who was the romantic interest, who I believe has only appeared in like the Fast and Furious movies. So she was in the wrong movie. Like, I don't know what movie she was in, but she was not actually performing in a film. She was just kind of.
Well, and it felt gross because she's so much younger.
Oh,
She
yeah.
just looks so much younger than Jake Gyllenhaal. It just felt gross.
Yes.
Yeah, she looks like she's like she and the spunky teen character should be best buddies in middle school.
Yes.
And
Well,
then
like you said,
Yeah.
sorry.
She was a doctor.
That was so believable too. Well, and Jenny, you kept saying, that like she kept blinking her eyes, and I think it was Morse code. I think she was trying to tell us something. Like,
help me.
help me. I'm
Give
being
me a
held
teddy bear so
hostage.
I can show you where it
Yeah.
hurts.
Like, I didn't sign a contract for this. Jessica Williams, who played the bar owner, I love her, hands down. She was great in the film, and she's in that TV show Shrinking that I keep trying to push on everybody, and she's funny in that show as well.
Mm.
Conor McGregor was hilariously terrible. Like, you could literally tell that either whoever they hired as this acting coach or the director worked with him for a while and went, fuck, I don't know. Just strut through every scene with a stupid fucking grin on your face. And that's all he did. I mean, that's all he fucking did. And I was like, that would work for like an animated film or I don't know, but I just did not like him in this film. Billy Magnuson, who I love in most everything, he plays dumb hot really well, and no better place than in this one.
Mhm.
And once again, I'm the third person. Arturo Castro as Mo steals the whole movie.
Mhm.
Every one of his deliveries, everything is absolutely brilliant.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For me, what I loved most about this film was the chance to watch it with you guys. Oh, thank you, Tammy. We're going to have to get to know each other.
Tammy's my sister-in-law. They're supposed to come up this summer for a visit, so I'll make sure we
Peters,
get
of course,
everybody in the
that
same
makes
room.
sense. Okay, nice. For me, the great fun was watching it with the brothers, sisters, and Duncan, because I think I don't know how I would have reacted to it if I'd watched it by myself, but I had such a great time watching it with you guys and sort of lobbing our comments at it as we were watching. That's why I didn't really take any notes this time around, was because they all just came out of my mouth while we were watching it. And I will say that I did enjoy this version better. I don't know that I can say like this was a good film. Like, no, I just enjoyed it better. I enjoyed the action a little bit better. I enjoyed the story. There wasn't so much. The first one sort of bogged you down in acting and story. And I'm like, there's no story. There's no acting. All I need is the action, kick each other's faces out on the front of a boat, and that's what it provided. Plus hanging with you guys was great. My little bit of trivia for this one, I think I had two bits. First of all, they did do a part 2 to Roadhouse. There was a Roadhouse 2 that didn't do very well. But then in 2015, they were going to remake Roadhouse, but with gender flipped. They were going to do with Ronda Rousey,
Yes.
and that never came to be. I think that might have been interesting.
Mhm.
The other thing is Jamie Lee Curtis is Jake Gyllenhaal's godmother. So
I
there,
did not know that.
there's a little bit of trivia.
That's
to
some
go on.
excellent trivia.
Yeah, I was going to say, if she had played the Dalton character, I would totally be into that.
Ronda Rousey or Jamie Lee Curtis?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
That would have been amazing.
Totally.
Freaking amazing.
For real. I love
Yeah.
it. Well, and
Well,
that was the other comment I forgot to write down was that it turns out Dalton in the 2024 version was also MacGyver. So
Oh, yeah. I forgot. He
Yeah.
knows how to use dynamite and drive a boat. And, you know,
With pieces of gum wrapper and a paper clip.
exactly. I don't know if I put this bomb together correctly. I'm like, who the fuck knows how to put a bomb together?
I do not. But you know what?
It is-
The internet does. So apparently he
last-
just Googled it. So
The last thing I'll say is the tree. Do you remember the tree? I think they called it Fred.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Like that little girl kept talking about Fred the tree. And then at the very end, there's a shot of the tree.
Right.
And I'm like, what the hell is this?
Exactly. Well,
It has
wondering-
nothing to do with this film.
I was
We're
like,
all worried about Fred the tree.
why do you keep telling me about how alligators store their food?
Yeah.
You keep telling me, but I don't. What does that mean? Why do you keep saying it?
Right. Take us, lead us somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yes.
I think
Well-
that's all I got
Okay,
to do.
Well, the good news is, like I love a good action flick, and so what we did, because we are heroes and we want you to enjoy, your movie going experiences.
Mhm.
What we did is we put together a bunch of movies that you should watch instead of Roadhouse. So, Chip, we're gonna just roll with it and start with you. What are
Okay.
5 action movies that you think you should watch other than the Roadhouses?
So I love the Mission Impossible films, starting with number 3. 1 was interesting, 2 was terrible, 3 is really where they kind of kicked off for me. I haven't seen the last one yet, but I initially was like dragged to the theater to see these films, and now I will willingly go because the action is intense and fun to watch. And there was one where there was an opera going on and people in the audience, and there's a whole thing going on in the theater. They're all trying to get to something, and there's all this action going on, and yet there's this opera on stage. I thought it was just the most amazing thing. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Who can deny that film?
Mhm.
It's
You can't.
beautiful. I mean, it's not just the action of it; it's the fact that the action is beautiful.
Mhm.
It's
Very-
gorgeous. It's spiritual.
Artistic.
It tells a lovely
Yeah.
story, and I just that has stayed with me forever. Aliens. Honestly, I think I may have watched that film with you on videotape at Colleen somebody's house.
Colin
And-
Kenny's.
Mhm.
Colleen Kenny's house, yes. And I
Yep.
remember the scene where they've got the little digital thing and the aliens are coming closer and closer and they're like, they're on top of us, man. And there's like no thing. And they're like just sitting there for a second and then they all drop through the ceiling. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like, I mean, just everything about that movie
Mhm.
startled me and felt new.
Mhm.
Minority Report, Demolition Man, two movies I never saw in the theater, 2 movies I wasn't interested in seeing in the theater. Watched them on TV and cannot stop. Like anytime there was a period of time where I didn't have cable or anything. So if I watched somebody's house, one or both of these movies would be on. And I would sit down and watch them each time because Minority Report, you had the action, but it's Steven Spielberg action.
Mhm.
So it has a beautiful, and I hate to say beautiful again, it has a very stylized look to it and it takes you somewhere. And I will watch that one over and over again. It's a well-told story. It stops. There's brilliant actors in it. You've got Lois Smith, who steals the whole friggin' movie with her 10 minutes about the plants. And, I was just like, that was amazing. Demolition Man is just high camp and it's just so much fun. And when I lived in LA, the Pacific Design Center is basically the outside that they used for like when they went to Taco Bell and when they were out walking around and things would pop up out of the ground. And so I drove past that thing all the time and would be like, be well. But yeah, I love those. And you've got, Wesley Snipes at like high octane opera villain,
And
So there you go.
again, at the height of his powers, as
Yeah.
far as star power and just, he was gorgeous, in that movie. And yeah, I love that movie.
When I'm watching that film, you can see how he was able to then take that as the step to go and be a drag queen in Tu Wong Fu.
Right.
It was like-
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are movies that I enjoy. Action movies.
Yeah, and I think what I think what we're doing with this list of movies that you should watch instead of the Roadhouses, and the thing that got me about the new Roadhouse is that and I feel like we're kind of at this really great point where we're seeing some action movies that are also telling some really fun, really interesting stories.
I
And
agree.
what bothered me about the Roadhouse movie is that it didn't have anything new or interesting to say. It was just it just sucked. And this five that you picked are just these really great stories. Either the action is amazing, or the way it's told is amazing, or you get this visceral feeling of dread in Aliens. Is just like that one goes deep. Or
Yes.
you have these other things that it offers that the new Roadhouse does not come close to offering.
Right.
So
Agreed.
these are mine. And I'm a little bit all over the place in terms of my list. I picked things that were a little bit newer because, again, I feel like some of these stories are really good. My favorite of all time is Kill Bill's Volume 1 and 2. And oh wait, Tammy, yes, young Sandra Bullock in Demolition Man and
Yes.
young Benjamin Bratt in
Yes.
Demolition Man. Both really young, just getting started, and both again in terms of the memorable performances in Demolition Man, it's Sandra Bullock and Benjamin Bratt in that movie. I think so. Well said. So yeah, Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. And again, I think this is the greatest action movies, and I don't consider them to be two movies. They came out a year apart. I consider them to be one movie because that's how they should be. That's how they should be viewed. And just watching back to back, just so you know, they are uber violent. Two is less violent than one, but not by much. And they're incredibly bloody. But the story is amazing. The action, the fight work in both of these movies is top notch. And it ends when she finally gets to confront Bill. It's some of the most surprising. That's the most surprising part, is that it's this quiet, beautiful scene where I'm going to spoiler alert. She meets her daughter. She confronts Bill, and it's really thoughtful and it's slow and it's such a satisfying ending. I love it so much. The next one on the list, and this is sort of one of those that kind of got under a lot of people's radars, the movie Nobody that came out in 2021. Who knew that Bob Odenkirk could be an action star? That is a funny movie. It's well paced. It's surprising. And again, Bob Odenkirk is amazing. If you've not watched this movie, watch it. Number 3 is Death Race with 2008. That came out. I needed to have at least one Jason Statham movie on there. I could not have a Jason Statham movie. And this is Statham at his Stathamist best, where he's so cool. It's Jason Statham. And the best part of this movie, though, is Joan Allen, who just chews up the scenery as the evil warden. Oh, I love her anyway. And she's just deliciously twisting her Snidely Whiplash mustache and just at her Mr. Burns, best. And it's such a great. That's a movie that it's so dumb, and everybody just looks like they're having a great time making this incredibly dumb movie. It's fantastic. Number 4 is The Hunt with Betty Gilpin and Hilary Swank. This is a fantastic satire, and I can remember when this movie came out, everybody's like, "Oh, it's the left wing talking about killing right wing people." It's not anything like that. Yes, there's that happening, but the satire, as far as both groups, the left and the right, is spot on, and it really just has a message about cancel culture, which is brilliant. And I just think it's such a great movie. And again, take the time to watch it. It's just a cool, thoughtful, hilarious movie. And then number 5 is what I believe to be, it's one of my favorite movies ever. It's Hot Fuzz, and it's released in 2007, written and directed by Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, Jim Broadbent, and a very plucky Olivia Colman in that movie.
So good.
It's an action comedy. Yeah, it's an action comedy, and it's done as only the English can do it. It's absolutely a great big swipe at American actions movies, and especially buddy comedies. And it throws all of that, the ridiculous action, the hero that nobody believes, the homoerotic, between the two, buddy cop movie thing. And it's so funny, and the action is amazing, and it's the best action movie ever.
The great are
The great are
good.
good. Yeah, it's just clever and funny, and again, so very English, and it's just nonstop funny. And so, if you're not into if you're not into to English humor, you won't enjoy it as much. But if you are, then it's very much nonstop. They do a fantastic job. So those are my five. And hit it.
Okay, my five. I decided since the the two movies that we were focusing on, the Roadhouses, were so even in the 2024 homoerotic, all about men doing bad stuff, men doing bad stuff to for good stuff, whatever. I decided to focus on five movies that had female protagonists in action movies. So my first one is Mad Max Fury Road. I think this is an amazing movie. If you want an action movie, it is practically nonstop, but it's very stylized. This whole world is invented. It's very stylized. Even the language of this movie is stylized. Every time I watch it, I get something else out of it because I understand the language of it more. It stars Charlize Theron. She does a beautiful job. She does a great, I mean, it's hard to make her look unattractive. It's really impossible. The only time I've ever seen her look unattractive is in The Monster. Yeah. But, you know, here she's playing this very furiosa, this very fierce woman. Oh my gosh, nonstop. Next is Aliens. I have to agree with you. Chip, the first time I saw this when I was in high school, I lost weight watching this movie. Yes. I mean, it was just, there's one scene where they're talking about, you know, when can we expect rescue? And he's like, you know, 17 days. And Bill Pullman's character are like, I hate to tell you, man, but we ain't going to make it 17 hours. And they said 17 days. I'm like, I felt my whole body like, oh, these people are fucked.
Yeah.
We're all going to die.
They're all going to die.
Not even there. And we're all going to die.
We're all going to die.
Exactly. Again, another, you know, here we have an action movie set in another place in another time. Sigourney Weaver, oh, man, you know, the woman kicks ass. Yeah. So that is and then it has all these other great actors in it. Just so fucking quotable, this movie. It's iconic. Of course, I can't. Twister's my number one guilty pleasure. Helen Hunt. You know, she's tackling the tornadoes. This movie on when they had it on Netflix came with a warning: extreme weather.
Love it.
But it's a great action movie, but the action is all about the tornado. You know, that's what's causing all this action. So it's awesome. Atomic Blonde. This one I kind of watched like it was one of those movies. I'm like, yeah, okay. You know, it was like one of those free things. I was like, all right, I'll watch it. I loved this movie. It's set in the late 80s in Germany. So it's this time and place movie, you know, pre-cell phones, spy thriller, action thriller. This woman kicks ass. I'm not saying it's a brilliant movie, surprisingly really good and entertaining. And then, of course, Lucy with Scarlett Johansson. There's some parts about this movie I don't particularly like, but whenever she's on stage, you know, she's stealing it. She's, you know, this is one of the things that truly irritated me about the 2024 Roadhouse was how we did not tell a new story. And a lot of people, they do the same thing with horror. Sometimes with action movies, it gets too lazy. Like, oh, we don't have to have a good story because we have all this action. Every one of these movies that we've all mentioned, the 15 movies that we've mentioned, all have very compelling stories. You watch them because they have a compelling story. That's what keeps you there. It's not, the action is awesome. Don't get me wrong. You know, that's the cherry on the sundae. And that's how an action movie should be. It should tell you a very compelling story. And then the action is just what makes it even better.
Yes.
And Roadhouse, neither one did that. And that's why I don't like, that's my main problem with those two movies.
I'm with you. Here.
Not untrue.
Yeah.
Not untrue, Ann Brothers. Yeah.
What do they call it now? A narrative. To have a narrative that drives it forward.
That's exactly it.
You need more than cocaine and Google to write a movie. What?
That's exactly it. And it was lazy. It was they spent millions and millions of dollars for the laziest ass movie. And that's insulting. All the movies that we just recommended, they were all writing matters. Exactly. Yes. They're all great stories.
And I always love seeing your lists because like I've seen Lucy and I've seen Aliens and I've seen Twister, but Atomic Blonde, I heard really good things about. And then it kind of fell off my list. And then I've already closed my little notebook. but I can't remember the ones from Jenny's list but that's one thing I like about this. Whenever I get to be on this thing with you, when you Nobody and The Hunt, because I love Betty Gilpin. Betty Gilpin for me should be the biggest fucking movie star in the world. She's hilarious. She's down to earth. She's a smart ass. And I just wish we could get her career going in a big way.
Me too. Me too.
She's great in this movie, and just a little, to throw some light on Betty Gilpin, the show Glow on Netflix. She's a star in that, and she's fabulous in that series as well. And I agree, Chip. She should be doing way more stuff, but she's great in The Hunt. She plays somebody fairly understated and super competent, and in the end, just completely kicks ass, and so you root. You don't know her a bunch about her backstory. You talk about wrong place, wrong time, and you just you are rooting for her hard in the end. So
exactly,
it's totally
She was
cool.
on the last couple seasons of Nurse Jackie.
Okay,
It was awesome. And if you ever get the chance, she was on Mark Maron's podcast a number of years back.
Okay,
and that makes sense.
She gives good podcast.
Well, yeah, that makes sense because he was in Glow as well. He plays. Yep. And he's great. And if you're not watching that series on Netflix, that series. It ended in COVID, which is unfortunate. It only got 3 seasons. Desperately needed to get a 4th season, but COVID killed it, which breaks my heart because that's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazingly good show. So here's other action movies you should watch. And as you can see, we have a long list of action movies that you should watch instead of. These are a bunch of honorable mentions that you should watch instead of watching either Roadhouse. And it goes from everything from Aliens, the first John Wick, the first Matrix, Plane. I had to throw at least one Gerard Butler. We threw 2 on there. Plane, N300, Top Gun Maverick, Die Hard, The Fugitive, Harrison's Ford, The Fugitive, Dust Till Dawn, Running Man, Salt, Edge of Tomorrow. Ooh, good pick on that one.
Love the Running Man.
Yeah. Running Man, the old school Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of his best movies, I think.
Totally. Because it actually, again, like you said, it had a plot. It was kind of smart. And it really predicted all the bullshit that we have on TV today. Short of
reality TV.
Yeah.
It always feels like it always feels like it's just a matter of time before we literally have the Running Man on TV.
Yeah.
Squid Game, that kind of Squid Game reminded me of Running Man.
I have to watch that.
Oh, Chip, you'll like it.
You've never watched that?
No.
Ooh, Chip.
I heard it was very violent, so I wasn't sure I wanted to.
It is very violent. There's no doubt.
It's violent though, but man, it'll get your thinkers going. Woof. Yeah, for real. Let's see. Terminator 2, all of the Bourne movies, V for Vendetta, Predator, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Haywire, which is a very understated movie. Again, not the most brilliant performance. It's Gina Carano, one of her earliest kind of forays into entertainment. But that movie, it's Steven Soderbergh, and just a really great little movie. Again, action-packed. Channing Tatum is in that. Ewan McGregor's in it. Bill Paxton. So again, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, The Crow, Cliffhanger, Wonder Woman, the first one. I steered away from superhero movies. If I were to add a superhero movie to this, I would say, Ryan Reynolds, dude.
Deadpool.
Oh, Deadpool.
Yeah, I would say Deadpool. Both Deadpools.
Deadpool had one of the funniest sequences where he gets this whole team together. And then just
the
one
second
by
Deadpool,
one.
yes, Deadpool 2.
I laughed like a maniac through that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the beauty of Deadpool is like, and I don't love superhero movies, but Deadpool made me laugh so much, both of them. So, and again, Deadpool 2 really brought it, which is something that most sequels don't do. Total Recall, Ready or Not. Joe and I sat and debated Michael Bay movies because I hate Michael Bay movies. For me, if I have to choose a Michael Bay movie, it's The Rock, and for Joe, it was Con Air. So I don't know. You can debate that all day. Starship Troopers, Desperado, Mask of Zorro, Pitch Black, Pacific Rim, Wanted, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Jackie Brown, and Out of Sight. So watch any of these movies.
And I will say, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they just did a new version on Prime, and it's a series with Donald Glover. And it's good. It's really good. It's a little talky, but it's also I enjoyed it ultimately.
Okay.
Sweet. Yeah,
Out of
that's
sight, out of sight.
that's a great
Yeah,
movie.
well, it's Eleanor. What is it? Leonard.
Elmore Leonard.
Yes,
Elmore
thank
Leonard.
you.
Yeah.
Jackie Brown and Out of Sight are both, and he has a I've read a couple of his novels too, and he has a real knack. His movies, his books translate well into movies. Oh, I think I forgot. True Romance. I forgot to add that one. Oh no, I did.
I think it's on here.
Good.
Yep, you did. You got it on there. Yep.
Rogue One and True Romance. So yeah, so those are all, and that's one of the things I liked about Out of Sight and True Romance is part of their setting is in Detroit. So
what we loved about
Irresistible.
True Romance was we moved to LA when True Romance was out,
Mhm,
and there's a scene that takes place in the Safari Inn, which is
mhm.
the hotel that we landed in and stayed before we. Yeah, so we were all like, "Look at us, we're
Yes.
all Hollywood already."
Uh-huh.
We're so Hollywood. Oh my god.
Yes, and most of these, I would say, other than the Michael Bay movies, most of these have a really
Yeah.
good story. So
Well, and I can't think who's the other Michael Bay guy, and I can't think of his name. Oh geez, I'm
What's
sorry.
he done?
That's what I'm trying to think. One of the last things he did was that it was a bar movie with all the girls.
Coyote Ugly.
Coyote Ugly,
I don't know who the
I have
director
no
was.
idea who directs those.
and I can't. I just remember. I thought all of his movies were really stupid, and I had a chance. Let's see if we can find his friggin' name.
Yeah, I just know Michael Bay movies. They're just awful. I hate them
Yeah,
so
I
much. That's
If I
I'm,
agree with you, Jenny, if I'm going to watch a Michael Bay movie, it's going to be The Rock.
because
Yeah.
at least you have Ed Harris and Sean Connery
Oh,
to
Ed Harris.
look at.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
It's the director of the list is not the one that I'm
David
thinking.
McNally. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
it.
The guy probably produced it, didn't direct
Oh.
it. But,
Yeah.
I was unemployed at the time, and I got a call saying they're doing the post production for this guy's whatever his next film was, and would you like to be the guy who sits in the hallway and runs for cigarettes and booze and food for the editors? And I was like, I didn't really want the job,
Mhm.
and so I kind of was like, yeah, his movies are kind of bad. Like I just was not very kind about his
That's very
films.
kind of you.
Surprisingly, they didn't hire me.
You weren't enthusiastic about his
No.
art form.
No.
I thought I don't want to. I know what that job really entails, and it was like, ugh. But yeah, I just
No,
remember.
thank you.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I feel like we've done our job as far as protecting people from either roadhouse.
Yes.
And I
Don't
think
do
we've
it.
offered you, the thing is, what we are, you guys, the brother sisters are, if nothing else, solution oriented. So, we don't bring problems, we bring opportunities and solutions.
It's
So,
true.
yes. So
It's
you're
true.
welcome, America. So we've
Mhm.
offered you many solutions, ways to entertain yourself other than watching the protecting you and your family from either roadhouse, while at the same time offering you things that you could watch with the family or not.
Depending on
Maybe
how
put
old
the
the
kids
family
to
is.
bed
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then watch Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2
Yeah.
in hot
I was
classes.
gonna
So,
say,
Kim
Patrick
Too
puts to
Good is
bed first.
thanking us
Thank
for
you.
thank you, Kim. We appreciate you. You're awesome. So
Thank you.
so go ahead and watch one of our amazing movies. So as far as next week, our sneak peek at next week is we are doing 10 questions. That's right. Now, if you're interested, you guys, we will throw this out there midweek. If you have questions that you would like to ask us, otherwise Ann and I just end up asking each other questions. So if
Mhm.
there's questions that you want to ask us, feel free to email or just hit us up on the Facebook or stuff like that, and we will answer your questions. 10 questions. Usually we do 5 apiece. So we did that as a kickoff. We did that with our very first Spotify show. So
Mhm.
we're going to do that again because we try to do that a couple times a year, to answer those deep questions
Deep burning
about stuff.
questions. Mhm.
Deep burning questions, yes.
Mhm.
We have to take a minute and give a huge, super special thanks to Chip Moehle for joining us, and not just any Chip Moehle, but entertainment expert Chip Moehle.
That's
Yes.
right.
So
Who brought you
yes,
Show Me on the Teddy Bear Where This Movie Hurt You?
That's right, folks.
that's
Show me on the teddy
That's the
bear where
line
this
of the
movie hurt you.
that's the line of it. The
Exactly.
other line of the
Feel
day.
free to
So that was
footnote
today's
me.
line of the day. You're Chip is also responsible for our new tagline, the Brother Sister Smart Dumb Fun, where you learn things about stuff,
Things about stuff.
which is priceless. And okay, so the other line of the day that we didn't talk about, and I want to throw this out there real quick before we sign off, was that when we first started watching the new Roadhouse 2024, and the movie starts with two guys just beating the shit out of each other in some sort of underground fight club sort of fight with lots of betting, and Anne just looks at us and she's like, "Don't you think it would just be easier if they just learned to read?" And that was the other thing that kind of got the ball rolling. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yes.
It's gonna
See,
be
this
like that tonight.
This is why it was fun to watch with you guys.
I'm like, well, Anne, probably.
Probably. Like, could you just? There's got to
Yeah.
be easier work than this.
Oh my God! If we
For
just
sure,
invested
for
in
sure.
teachers and education.
Totally.
We have to put
So
up with this.
before
Thank you guys
before
for
we
having me
sign-
on. I love being on.
Oh, thank
Always
you,
a pleasure, Chip. And before we leave today, you guys, real quick, remember you can support the Brothers Sisters for absolutely free. We're trying to build our brand, people. I won't lie, this is more fun than teaching. So I want to do this instead of teaching. So please support the Brothers Sisters for free by going to Spotify. Even if you don't really listen to us, just go ahead and subscribe anyway. Tell your people to subscribe. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music. Put the word out. Tell your people. And again, it doesn't cost you a thing to support us. Just do that. And then all these other things will happen. It'll be cool.
I
So-
listen to you on Apple Podcasts.
Oh, very
See?
good. See,
We
I listen to
exist.
us on
We exist.
Spotify. So yeah, but I've talked to a number of people who listen to us on all kinds of other stuff. So yay,
Yeah,
we're
it's so
everywhere.
Hey.
When you
We're everywhere you
expand
want
it.
to be.
Yes.
We're everywhere, and we're gonna have merch, because once we get done talking to Kathy, we're gonna figure out our merch store.
Mhm.
We're gonna have merch. You can buy a T-shirt or a button.
Ooh.
People still wear buttons? No, but you can put a sticker that you can put on your big dumb cup. So yay,
Oh,
awesome! All right, guys, we're you know what I need to do now? I'm gonna put on our super special outro music from the magnificent.
I gotta
Max
say,
Caselli.
excellent. I love the tunage. Way to go, Max Caselli.
Max
know.
Caselli's the man. So you have been listening to the Brother Sisters Smart Dumb Fun weekly podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Again, super special thanks. Chip, we have a tote bag just for you with stickers.
Shut up.
That's right, just for... No, I won't shut up.
I won't shut up.
I can't wait.
You can take one
Nice
to
to
your
have
work.
That's right, upgraded tote bag. Anyway, like I said, you've been listening to the Brother Sisters Smart Dumb Fun. I am Jenny Brothers,
I am Ann Brothers.
and with us, the magnificent entertainment expert, Chip Moehle.
I'm the stepsister.
All right, you guys. We are out of here. Love you guys. Thank you. Peace out.